welcome back to another video. So, as you can tell by the title, we are going to be reacting to scary animations. This is inspired by Cory X Kenshin. We love when you react to scary animations, and we got inspired by it. So yeah,
we like you.
Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Comment if you want us to do more like this. Comment if you want a video. Comment if you want to give us a video idea. Just comment, like, and definitely subscribe. Anyways, let's get to.
Have you ever had a dream that you had?
Anyways, let's start the video. Okay, guys. So our first animation is Really Scary True Walmart Horror Story, and it is by Horror Shorts Party. By the way, all of these animations are by Horror Shorts Party because they make the best animations. Okay, let's start.
Not even the video. I look like the Walmart I go to.
Nights at Walmart are never the same as the last. Sometimes, my shift is so slow and boring that I'm struggling to stay awake. Other nights, it's a non-stop barrage of helpless customers, loiterers, shoplifters, and crackheads. The only thing that makes it any easier are my coworkers. Not long ago, an especially good friend of mine still worked here. Josie was the best part of any shift. Night by night, we were slowly becoming more than friends. Of course, that meant our managers made sure we rarely ever saw each other. The way they'd put us at opposite ends of the store. I guess they didn't want two of their best employees to accidentally find happiness together. But that's beside the point. One night, Josie and I were working the same shift, but as usual, not together. I had to help man the self-checkout area, and Josie was holding down the clothing department by herself. It was late, enough for a bit of excitement to start building up stomach. Not only would I be home in a couple of hours, but the fitting rooms were closing any minute, which meant Josie might be free to come help near checkout as the last of the customers left the store. However, I momentarily forgot where I worked. Walmart, a place in which even a fleeting moment of joy is easily destroyed. I had just finished checking someone's receipt, making sure they correctly scanned in their 8 cases of diet soda, when I waved them on and looked toward the entrance to see an unsavory sight. A large, sweaty, shirtless man was clobbering his way into the store.
Oh, Mommy,
he didn't
no.
actually run into anybody, but he looked like he was either on something or off his rocker completely. Still, I had to step away from my station and tell him something important.
What is that?
Sir, stop. You can't be in here half naked. You have to put a shirt on. I'm going to buy a shirt right now, mind your business. I didn't feel there was much of a choice for me but to let him slide. The guy was way bigger than me, so I didn't want any trouble. Reluctantly, I returned to the self-checkout area, trying to focus on the people there. I was at work. I didn't need to be a hero or anything. I just had to do what I was supposed to do and let the people in the clothing department handle that guy. A few seconds too late, it was running the clothing department alone. And right as I had the realization, I heard Josie scream. I immediately made a break for it, running as fast as I could. I got to the clothing department seconds later, but I didn't get there in time. I didn't save Josie. All I managed to do was to get there just to be able to watch as that freak. He had this giant red knife in his hand from God knows where. He grabbed Josie and stabbed her. I saw the knife glowing from her eyes as she collapsed. The man fell on top of her, pulling the knife out just to take it into both hands and plunge it straight down, right through the center of her neck. I thought I must be having a nightmare, a hallucination, something. It couldn't be real. That Josie was dead. Even if I hadn't been frozen in shock, I couldn't have stopped him. No one could have. That man was a monster. And then he craned his neck back to look at me, his face and mouth soaked in Josie's blood, his eyes full of such pure evil. They couldn't have been human. Why? She wouldn't stop following me. Now why can't you be? I wanted to stand there and fight him or die and join Josie, but I was too afraid. My instincts took over and I ran like a coward. I could barely breathe through the tears, and somehow, that man was way faster than he should have been. A few more seconds, and he might have caught up and granted my wish. But at the last second, I realized I was running straight for a bunch of cops. I panicked and ducked, tripping over myself and sliding across the floor. The next instant, I heard a gunshot. A bullet flew right over my head. It made my ears ring, but when I could hear again, I heard the clicking of what I realized was a taser. I looked back and saw the man collapsed and rigid on the floor not far from me, as the electricity
that's
coursed
good.
through his body. Too little, too late for some, but it was enough to help the cops arrest him and put a stop to the madness. Later, we found out the man had stolen a knife from the nearby Walgreens. The cops showed up so early because they were already looking for him, but they didn't expect the theft to turn into what it did. According to the police, the man said he killed Josie because he thought she was some sort of demon, something that had been stalking him for weeks, tormenting him. I knew it had to be madness. No sane individual would mistake Josie for a demon. No decent person would ever take her away from this world, away from me. A Walmart employee in Arkansas was taken out by a man who allegedly told authorities that he was being stalked by a demon. Around 10:58 p.m., officers were dispatched.
Okay, that was insane. That was oh my gosh, what the freak did we just watch?
That was scary.
It wasn't even scary, it was disturbing.
Like he said so.
Okay, next animation. Okay guys, our next animation is basically, I don't know, I can't really describe it. This is a compilation. Okay, this is a compilation of a whole bunch of horror stories, but like we're doing like different videos, you know. Okay, let's get to the next video.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the Amigo chat room story.
This story happened to me a couple years ago. It happened on a Saturday night. I was typing on a school report for my English class and was pretty worn out from the tedious amount of thinking that transpired throughout the paper. I decided to take a break and procrastinate a little bit, maybe watch a couple of YouTube videos. I needed to take some stress off my
Dylan,
mind,
you're not
but
getting
didn't
nothing
really
more
have
out of
anyone
that.
to vent or talk to. This gave me the idea to visit a
I'm
chat
sorry
room
if y'all
called
hear her
Omegle.
mic and it's
For those
a
of
whole
you who
bunch of
don't know what
rustling. I'm
Omegle
so
is,
sorry. I'll
it's
need
a
that.
chat room where you can literally video chat with random strangers online through your computer webcam. Needless to say, Omegle definitely helped with my social skills growing up as a child, so I was always active on it. I remember this one particular night. I was having trouble meeting new people. This left me a little frustrated to say the least, but that's the kind of thing to expect when you're on these kind of chat sites. That's when I stumbled upon this one guy. He looked to be around the same age group as myself and seemed like a pretty harmless individual. I decided to say hi. He didn't say anything back, he just typed the word hi in the chat box. I found it kind of weird that he would go through the effort of typing out hi as opposed to just saying hi verbally. He then waved at me and began typing something else. He introduced himself in the chat box saying, "My name is Daniel, what's your name?"
Okay.
I verbally said, "My name is James, how are you?" He then stares at the camera
Girl, you
and
keep
doesn't say
pausing
a
with
word
your
to me,
AirPods.
completely dismissing the fact that I
Why?
just asked him a question. At this point, I was convinced that this had to be some sort of pre-recorded video and that someone was just trolling me. That's when he began typing in the chat box again saying, "I'm deaf, please type in the chat box unless you know sign language." I honestly felt stupid and immediately typed, "No worries, my name is James," and gave a quick thumbs up as an act of kind gesture. He immediately typed back saying, "Nice to meet you, James," and gave me a thumbs up as well. He then typed something else that left me dumbfounded. He said, "I will use my whiteboard to chat with you going forward because my hands will be occupied." I was confused by what he meant by that, so I typed, "What do you mean by your hands being occupied?" He then starts writing on a whiteboard and raises it up on the screen, which read, "Want to play a game?" I typed, "Sure, what game you want to play?" What he did next is something I will never forget to this day. He held a revolver up with one hand and the whiteboard up with the other hand, saying, "Let's play Russian roulette." I was honestly quite creeped out by this guy and was contemplating on clicking the stop option to skip this weirdo. That's when he wrote another message on the whiteboard saying, 1 of 6. I was confused by what one of 6 meant. He then took the revolver, slipped one bullet inside the cylinder, and began spinning it with his other hand. I now knew what he meant by one of 6. It seemed like the guy was about to demonstrate an act of Russian roulette with one bullet in the cylinder of 6. He then puts the revolver against his head. I began typing, "What are you doing? Please stop this." The guy then smiles disturbingly on the camera and pulls the trigger. Nothing happened. He starts laughing hysterically like a psycho. I was
Bro, wait. First of all, I would have been gone. I would have literally left the chat after he said Russian roulette. I wouldn't
honestly
even be chatting
disturbed,
with
but
him.
also
Like-
skeptical that the gun was real, so I
It was
typed,
Emma.
"Is that even real?" He then points the revolver at the wall and begins to repeatedly press the trigger until the shot was fired. I was completely blown away by what I was seeing and typed, "Dude, you could have died!" That's when the guy raised the whiteboard to the screen again, showing the message, 5 of 6. I frantically started typing, "Don't do it," repeatedly in the chat box, desperately trying to get his attention. He then began loading the revolver with 5 bullets while I gestured no by waving my hands back and forth like a lunatic. I knew the odds of him surviving this time were slim to none. He then raises the revolver against his head once again and begins to disturbingly smile, with tears running down his face.
And
He
you're just-
began mumbling the
Why are you
words,
just
"It was
watching?
nice meeting you, James."
I would have left.
I immediately slammed my laptop shut as I hear a gunshot a split second before the laptop was fully closed. I was left baffled on my computer desk. I hadn't a clue what to do. I stupidly opened my laptop up with my eyes closed. I pressed my hand against the screen where the video chat was located. I opened my eyes, and through the cracks of my fingers, I can see blood displayed everywhere on his screen. I immediately clicked the exit button on the Google Chrome tab and call it a night. To this day, I'm still skeptical about what I saw that night. I haven't reported anything to the police, nor have I reported anything to Omegle. I'm not sure if that was the wisest decision, but I hope I never encounter anyone like that again.
Ugh,
I didn't see it.
that is crazy. That is crazy. Like, oh my goodness.
That is really
Insane.
that's different.
Okay, let's get on with the next video. Okay guys, this next animation is basically a true TikTok horror story. Let's get on with it.
One night, I was out with my friends enjoying the nightlife downtown. We were at this club when I ended up meeting an
Why is she
unusual man at
attack
the
like
bar.
that?
At first, I was quite interested in him. He was foreign, coming from Russia, but our English was about the same level. His name was Nick, and he was a vlogger on TikTok. We traded socials, but I only scrolled through his videos to get a quick glance, promising that I would watch them later when I was somewhere quieter. I could tell he was as attracted to me as I was to him. Because he wasn't local, he said he'd only be in the city for a few days, meaning I only had a little time with him. Nick said he wanted to take me back to his hotel, but I didn't want to have However, even after I politely declined his offer, Nick kept pushing me to reconsider. That's what he kept saying, as if my decision would be any different 30 seconds apart. Gradually, with each time I smiled and shook my head or said, "No thanks," Nick became more upset, losing his charm and revealing the needy, impatient man-child hiding under his facade. I tried changing the subject multiple times, but he always brought it right back to his only concern. The final straw was when he began managed to push him away by jamming my elbow into his side.
Right.
Then he started apologizing, but it was already too late for him. But that's what I came to expect with meeting people at clubs. That night, it was quite crowded, so I figured if I made a quiet excuse then quickly slipped away, I would be able to lose him. I stepped away from the bar, weaving through crowds of dancers, looking for my friends. No matter where I looked,
That is not
I couldn't
Charles.
find them. It seemed like Nick was gone though, so after a bit more searching, I concluded they must have gone outside. I went to search for them there, outside the back of the club. There was a small crowd of people smoking, and a parking lot across the narrow street. No sign of my friends though. There was no bouncer at the back door at that moment, meaning I could just go back in and keep looking. I would find them eventually,
Man,
right?
wait a minute. Somebody keep on messing with me. Come here. Come here. Oh, they got my hair. Help! No.
If a grown man starts chasing me, that's enough. That kind of hurts my heart just watching that. Ow, pain. Grown man start chasing me. Okay, I'm walking, right? I'm walking. Grown man behind me. What you want? What you? I'm not gonna hit him, but I'm gonna start chasing him until
Oh, okay.
I don't see him anymore.
Let's get back to the film.
Except someone else found me first. Nick. He came storming out of the club, heading straight for me. He ran into me, pinning both my arms to my sides, trying to shove his face into mine to make out, but I kept squirming out of the way and telling him to stop.
Come on, baby. Let me.
We hold the hands.
I promise you'll never forget it.
Get your hands off me, creep!
No,
How many times
right
do I
up
have
there.
to say
I'm gonna
no?
grab
What
him
if we
by
went-
his waist. Grab him
No!
by his waist. Ugh.
Just let this happen.
Will somebody please help me already?
Back off. She's coming with me.
Suddenly, Nick started dragging me across the street. I dug my heels into the ground and pulled back, but it felt like he was going to rip my arm out of its socket. At last, someone came up and got between us. The moment they broke Nick's grip, I made a break for it. I ran back into the club and yelled for security.
No,
The
you
noise
should
also
run
alerted
outside
my
to your
friends,
car.
who found me at the same time as the bouncer. We all went out together to confront Nick, but despite the effort from the people outside to restrain him, he had gotten away. All we saw was him getting into his car and then speeding off. After that, my night was ruined. I knew, or at least I thought, that the whole ordeal was over, but I still didn't feel like hanging out anymore. My friends helped me get home. Then I
might
changed
get
out
a
of my
video
club
tomorrow,
outfit,
too.
took a shower, put on some comfy clothes, and tried to relax. Just as I laid down, I remembered I had followed Nick on TikTok. I pulled up his account only so I could block him, but then I got curious. His latest video was from that night, merely a few hours before we met. I'll never forget the feeling in my stomach when I watched it for the first time.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Nick. Welcome to Nick's World Tour. Today, we're in the Philippines, where I hear the women are fast and loose. As you all know from my last video, I recently contracted my adventures in China, so I think it's time to teach the Philippines a lesson. Tonight, I'm gonna It's gonna be so awesome, guys. Can't wait for you to see it. Coming up on Nick's World Tour.
I was in shock. I threw up because I just couldn't handle it. And he was going to try and give it to me? Even worse, he was trying to start an entire. I nearly fell victim to his insidious intentions, but thankfully, I escaped before it was too late. I sent the video to the police and told them about my encounter, which helped them arrest him before he could cause any more harm. Still, I can't believe he almost infected me.
That is crazy. Somebody grab my hair. Ow. Oh.
Somebody grab my hair. I'm gonna grab their hand and I'm gonna say, "Fuck."
Yes.
And then
yes.
I'm
Like. Okay. Anyways, guys, I hope you liked this video. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Y'all might get 2 videos this weekend if this video does good. And with that being said,
no. And always,
see you in the next video. Bye!